Right now, the Badgers football season could be in jeopardy as multiple reports say the Big Ten is getting ready to cancel the season.
Plus, we are starting our back-to-school coverage this morning with a look at how you can make sure your kids don't fall behind while learning from home.
It's a very muggy start this morning, but some thunderstorms will bring a break in the humidity. All the details coming up.
This is News 3 Now this morning.
Good Monday morning, folks. It is August 10th. Glad you're with us this morning. I'm Leah Lynchine.
And I'm Chris Stanford. So it was less than a week ago, Badger football released a full schedule for the season, and now it looks like the Badgers and many conferences may not be playing any football at all this fall.
Writer in the Alert Center tracking the latest developments and reactions to this developing story this morning. Here's a live look at Camp Randall Stadium, which might stay quiet this fall. We could hear an announcement from the Big Ten as soon as today if they decide to pull the plug on the fall sports season. Conference officials are hoping they can push it to spring, but nothing is set in stone yet. Over the weekend, the Mid-American Conference postponed its fall sports season to the spring. They were the first FBS conference to do so. Reaction from Badger football players is starting to roll in this morning. Cornerback Faion Hicks tweeted, "Me and football been going for 11 years strong. No football would be the worst breakup of my life." Badger safety Eric Burrell also responded to the report, tweeting, "NCAA, please don't do this to us. Hashtag I want to play." The I want to play and we want to play hashtags are trending on Twitter this morning as multiple players across the country are making their plea. We'll continue following this developing story and bring you both the updates on News 3 Now and Channel3000.com.
Well, we're just a few weeks away now from the start of a school year that promises to be unlike any other.
With many school districts either starting the year virtually or providing that option, we wanted to look into how you can make sure your kids are getting the most out of learning from home. Education experts we talked to at UW-Madison say a lack of engagement is the biggest worry with this shift to online learning. Luckily, there are some ways you can keep your kids engaged so they don't fall behind. Coming up in our next half hour, we'll have some advice from a mom who's been homeschooling for years and education experts on how to make the most of learning from home.
An update now to a story we first told you about last week. Epic won't make it mandatory for its nearly 10,000 employees to return to work on campus. They received a warning from the public health department. This is a reversal of last week's plan they released that required its workers to return to the company's Verona campus by September 21st unless they needed to stay home with a child or had a high-risk medical condition. This new decision comes after Epic received a letter from the Public Health Department of Madison and Dane County saying that Epic would be in violation of the county's health order. Coming up in our next half hour, we'll hear more from Epic on their changing plans and how they're trying to create a safe work environment for those who do return. There are now more than 5 million cases of COVID-19 in the U.S. More than 60,000 of those have been reported in Wisconsin, according to combined data from DHS and county dashboards. Officials are reporting 613 new cases over the past 24 hours. The state passed 1,000 COVID-related deaths over the weekend. Nearly 50,000 of those who have been infected with the virus have recovered.
Your mental health might be taking a toll during this pandemic. In fact, a recent Consumer Reports survey found that 38% of adults have experienced depression or anxiety as a result of this outbreak. There are ways to get affordable help, though, even if you're staying at home.
Like so many of us, Eli Nowak, a therapist in northern New Jersey, has had to adapt because of the pandemic.
How have you been feeling?
Since mid-March, I have shifted my practice to strictly via video or telephone.
He has also seen an uptick in patients seeking help because of stresses caused by current events.
It has been extremely challenging for most, if not all, of the people that I have worked with.
Numerous studies have shown that teletherapy can be as effective as in-person therapy. And it can offer patients sometimes more flexibility with scheduling, more convenience, perhaps more privacy, and even a bigger pool of potential therapists.
If you're interested in finding a therapist who will see you virtually, a good place to start is by asking for a referral from your primary care provider, family, or friends. A number of websites can be good resources as well, like the American Psychological Association and the American Psychiatric Association. If you have health insurance, you can also look on your insurer's website for a list of therapists covered under your plan. There are also some free options out there. there.
You could call 211 or visit 211.org for a referral to a provider who offers support at no cost or on a sliding scale, depending on your budget. You could also call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline and talk anonymously to a trained mental health professional for free.
And to get the most out of a virtual session, it's important that you feel comfortable with your therapist.
When talking to a prospective therapist, it's a good idea to ask about the person's years in practice, their specialties, their therapy techniques, and their fee.
If you or someone you know needs help, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK or message the crisis text line. That's 741-741. Both of those programs provide free confidential support 24/7.
6:05 right now. Hattie McLean with a look at the forecast. 3 things to know, and we just can't shake that humidity, it seems, Hads.
No, we can't, but eventually we will, Josh.
All right.
In fact, later on today, that's the good news. But right now, it's a very muggy start to the day. Heat index values will creep into the 90s early this afternoon before a cold front moves through. Speaking of that cold front, though, we'll bring some afternoon thunderstorms to southern Wisconsin. And looking ahead to the rest of the week, we're going to stay on the warm side of things with temperatures remaining in the 80s, but it's not going to be quite as humid. Here's that cold front where it sits this morning, right through northwestern Wisconsin, extreme southeastern Minnesota, and then back into Kansas this morning. There is still some continued activity along that front. Have seen quite a bit of lightning and thunder and some reports of hail to our north and west, but all is quiet out ahead of that front this morning. Here's a live look this morning from the WIC-TV sky camera shot. We're able to see a little bit more on the ground, but still those low clouds in place this morning. Visibility has improved at the airport in Madison, so we're up to 7-mile visibility there. Still some pretty dense fog, though, in southwestern Wisconsin. Less than a mile visibility in Boscobel. Platteville checks in with 1/4 mile visibility right now. And this is why dew points are high. Dew points are generally in the low 70s for southern Wisconsin. That means there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Dew points are pretty close to the actual air temperature, so relative humidity is running near 100%. In fact, we're at 74 here in Madison, 75 this morning in Janesville. So a very mild and muggy start to the day. Weather track showing you that we have low clouds in place, but again, that rain staying well off to the north and west this morning. As we put future track into motion, you can time out your rain chances today. There's an outside chance this morning for a shower or two, but through the lunch hour, most areas likely staying dry. Early this afternoon, as that cold front approaches, we'll see some scattered showers and thunderstorms develop here in southern Wisconsin, and they'll move through rather quickly. Already by 5 o'clock, most of that activity off to the south and east. So if you have plans this evening outside, you may need to pay close attention to the radar, but those storms might clear the area in time for you. Here's a look at our extended forecast then. Mainly dry through the rest of the week. Temperatures will stay in the 80s, so it will be warm, but not quite as humid. Humidity starts to increase next weekend as we get back into the middle 80s.
All right, Hattie, thank you. Breaking overnight at 6:07, Chicago police say looters shot at officers early this morning, hours into violence that stretched through the night. This is brand new video of the looting just into the newsroom within the last half hour. Reporters at the scene saw at least 2 people arrested and several downtown storefronts broken into. This all started around midnight and seemed to target some of the higher-end businesses in downtown like Lamborghini and Tesla stores. Police say they did shoot back at looters who shot at them. So far, no injuries have been reported.
Happening today, city council members in Seattle are set to vote on possibly cutting the city's police department's budget in half. Protesters both for and against police rallied yesterday to voice their issues. Those wanting to defund the department wish to see that money invested in programs that lift up black and brown communities. Some on the defense side say that can be had without what's being proposed. The 50% cut is not expected to pass, but it's still a possibility.
2 Georgia police officers are on leave this morning after firing their guns at a group of minors. The officers say they were trying to pull over a car which had 5 kids inside, ages ranging from 9 to 16. The 3 younger passengers got out of the car while it was still in drive and apparently moving toward police. That's when the officers fired at least 7 shots at the car. Neither teen inside was hit. The 16-year-old and a 15-year-old were arrested on multiple charges, including possession of a handgun. That case is still under investigation.
Madison police once again investigating a number of shots fired calls over the weekend, at least 2 of them related. Officers got several calls from the Parkwood Lane neighborhood just off Stoughton Road around 6 o'clock yesterday evening. Then just a few minutes later, witnesses say they saw 2 cars shooting at each other in that same neighborhood. No injuries reported. Police are investigating.
Breaking news overseas within the last half hour. Another member of Lebanon's government is resigning over the massive explosion in Beirut that killed 150 people. Protests continue there, calling for the entire government to step down. They say leaders were negligent in allowing thousands of tons of explosive material to be stored at the city's port for years. The country's cabinet is scheduled to meet today. Masked protesters have been seen hurling rocks over blast walls put up by police to defend roads leading to Lebanon's parliament building. Officials there say they do believe these protests will continue for several days.
At least 43 states are now seeing salmonella cases linked to onions. Last week, the FDA announced a recall across all 50 states for red, yellow, and sweet onions from 11 different brands. Those include Kroger, the parent company of Pick 'n Save, Thompson's premium brand, and Onions 52. So far, more than 600 people have been infected. At least 85 had to be taken to the hospital. The CDC is advising everyone to check the onions in your home. Make sure they're not on that affected list. Another word of warning, the CDC also says cooking the onions will not make them safe to eat.
6:10 is your time. Let's take a look at the roads this morning. If you're heading out, remember, we do have some fog, so keep that in mind as you head out this morning. Beltline looking so far so good. It looks like downtown area is not looking too bad. We are seeing some slowdowns on Highway 51 near McFarland this morning, so if you're heading up to Madison from the south, keep that in mind. There's your drive times as you head inbound, everything moving at posted speeds. John Nolan also looking much better at this half hour. That's your first one, traffic.
Thanks, Josh. 6:11 right now. Coming up, local clerks say they've seen historic levels of absentee voting ahead of tomorrow's primary. We'll share how they learned, what they learned from April's election, and how it could make things smoother this time around.
And the Badgers, not the only football team facing an uncertain future this fall. We're going to tell you how businesses around Lambeau are bracing for the possibility of no fans in Titletown. That's when News 3 Now this morning returns.
Comfort Services, buy one air conditioner and get one gas furnace for only $1,000. BOGOs are back, and it's a beautiful thing.
Habitat for Humanity of Dane County continues building and bringing stability to families through homeownership. As area families experience hardships, Habitat provides a pathway to financial security and independence. Strengthen our community. Support Habitat Dane County.
Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Baca Enterprises is truly humbled and thankful to all of our employees, residents, families, and vendors for their patience and cooperation.
Our employees have gone above and beyond with sanitation efforts, altering their daily routines, all while spreading joy and happiness throughout our community.
As you look forward to the future, Beaver Dam Assisted Living will be here for you.
To provide a sense of security and to provide comfort by keeping you safe and healthy.
Together, we're moving forward to help you live life with confidence. Call today to schedule your tour.
Dreaming of custom furniture? But you think high prices, sales pressure, and waiting for months and months? Come to Slumberland and design your way. Quick and easy, with no extra cost. First, pick your piece. Lots of styles, clearly marked. Next, pick your fabric. There's no extra charge here. Then, get it quick. Our orders are made fast. Plus, all custom furniture is on sale. Design your way, only at Slumberland Furniture.
Dear Summer, how do I make the most of you? Do I kick back and relax? Or climb new mountains? I could go and get dirty. Or switch into new lanes. One thing's for sure, it's gonna be great. Can't wait. Toyota.
Right now, you can get 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new 2020 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid. Toyota.
A1 Furniture and Mattress on Stoughton Road is now open. Family owned for 3 generations, the Canarella family offers the best prices, service, and selection in town. That's why we're A1, locally owned and operated since 1980.
At Pick 'n Save, we give you more ways to save on the fresh you love, like the Pick 'n Save app. It combines personalized coupons, fuel points, and weekly sales for the best deals. From meat to fruits and veggies to milk to whatever is in that. We've always given you more ways to save, and now those savings are even better than ever. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
6:14 happening right now. HHS Secretary Alex Azar is in Taiwan meeting with the country's president. Azar is the most senior American official to visit Taiwan in more than 40 years. He told the Taiwanese president that the Trump administration has strong support and friendship for the country. Azar praised what he called Taiwan's incredibly effective response to the coronavirus pandemic. His trip has been condemned by China, which claims the self-governing island as part of its territory.
Rock County is gearing up for a major increase in absentee ballots for tomorrow's primary election. In the 2016 August election, Rock County saw 23,000 voters come through the polls. This year, they're nearing that number in absentee ballots alone. Back in April, holding an election during a pandemic was stressful for both the county and the city of Janesville because of a surge in absentee voters. Now they're trying to be more proactive.
Our biggest hurdle was finding envelopes. I remember pulling them out of New Jersey to make sure we had enough envelopes to get to all the people requesting absentee ballots.
Janesville says it's issuing nearly 5 times as many absentee ballots as this time 4 years ago.
Developing right now, Joe Biden's pick for a running mate could come as soon as today. Biden's choice for his possible VP is expected to be a woman of color. CBS News reports he had a meeting with Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer last Sunday about the position. Former UN Ambassador Susan Rice, California Senator Kamala Harris, and Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth are all expected to be in the running.
Well, the White House National Security Advisor says the Chinese government is already targeting our infrastructure ahead of the November election. It comes after a statement from the Director of National Intelligence last week reporting that Russia is attempting to undercut Joe Biden's campaign for the presidency. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien says in regard to these China attacks, they would, quote, like to see the president lose. China is denying these claims, saying it has no interest in the internal affairs of the United States.
TikTok says it plans to file a lawsuit against President Trump as soon as tomorrow, challenging his executive order that would ban the app in the U.S. According to NPR, the suit plans to argue the president's actions are unconstitutional because he didn't give the company a chance to respond. It also alleges that claims of TikTok's threat to national security are baseless. The White House declined to comment on the possible litigation, but it did defend the president's order.
President Trump is reportedly looking for a way to add his face to Mount Rushmore. The New York Times reports his aides reached out to South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem about it last year. A source familiar with the paper's coverage says she gave him a replica of Mount Rushmore that included his face when he visited July 4th. Noem spoke about Trump's interest in appearing on the monument in 2018, and the president had talked about it a year earlier. President Trump is denying, though, that he has been in talks to add his face to the monument.
6:17 now. Hattie's happy to be back out on the Hattie-O patio after a week off. Hattie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Josh. Yeah, nice to be back, but it is pretty sticky out here. The kind of morning that you just sweat standing still. You don't have to do anything this morning to get a little sweaty. It is very hot, very muggy, and our forecast for today has highs in the 80s once again. Take a look at the Queen Bee Radio sky camera shot in Platteville. Still sucked in with fog there. Visibility at 1/4 mile. Visibility 1/2 mile in Boscobel. So the thickest fog right now is in southwestern Wisconsin. That fog may be a little patchy, though, across the rest of the area. They may show up in between reporting sites. So keep that in mind as you hit the road early this morning. Weather track showing you that outside of the low clouds in the area, no rain right now. That rain and thunderstorm activity, though, is getting pretty close to La Crosse. They're likely able to start to hear some thunder pretty quickly here in the La Crosse area. Those showers and thunderstorms are along a cold front that will be moving through the area this afternoon. So our out-the-door forecast has a chance for some afternoon thunderstorms with highs in the mid-80s today. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk more about the timing on that rain. But it is going to stay muggy until that front moves through. So here's a look at your future track heat index values heading through the afternoon. Some spots it's going to feel like it's in the low 90s for a couple of hours. By 10 o'clock, though, definitely some improvement as that humidity begins to leave the region. So good news, just one more day with that high heat and humidity.
Well, let's get that rain in here because that humidity is almost unbearable even at this hour.
Yeah, you can slice it with a knife right now.
Sure can. Thanks, Hattie. Major League Baseball is still dealing with a coronavirus outbreak on the St. Louis Cardinals, possibly putting the rest of that team's season in doubt. Another player tested positive for the virus over the weekend. That brings the team's total to 9 players and 2 staff members. The team hasn't played a game now since July 29th in Minnesota. They've had series against the Brewers, Tigers, Cubs, and Pirates postponed now because of the testing. The team's general manager says he is skeptical the team will be able to play all 60 games now. At some point, if they were to return, it would mean playing 55 games in just 45 days.
The Brewers have yet to have a player test positive since the season started. They got back on a winning track yesterday, beating the Cincinnati Reds 9-3 to avoid a sweep. Christian Yelich showed signs of breaking out of his slump, hitting a home run off the scoreboard in the 8th. The Brewers host the Twins tonight at Miller Park.
Businesses near Lambeau Field are coming to grips with what a season without fans might mean for them. The Packers have already announced there won't be any fans for the first 2 home games. The average Packers game brings in $15 million in business to the Green Bay area. With training camp also not allowing fans this year, businesses are seeing some of the effects.
It's nothing compared to what we, would do if the season was going as, it normally would. But like I said, we're doing our best to just keep it going for now.
Businesses say they're hoping the fans will still choose to spend part of the game day near Lambeau, even if they're not allowed to see the game in the stadium.
Just about 6:21 this morning. Stick around. Coming up in our next half hour, we're kicking off our back-to-school coverage.
Yeah, we're going to share some advice from a mom who's been homeschooling for years, as many of you prepare for online learning from home this fall. Stay with us. We're back after a quick break.
I want a client who comes in to feel comfortable and to know that their case is in good hands so they can relax and get on with their life as best as they can and let me do the fighting for them. That's how I want them to feel.
Gingras, Thompson, and Walks.
Garver. Garver.
Gather. Gathering.
Garver.
Gathering.
Garv.
Garvering.
A socially responsible gathering where a maximum of 250 people enjoy thirst-quenching drinks, delicious food, and the arts in a safe, clean, and touchless outdoor environment. Let's go Garvering. Visit thegarverfeedmill.com for dates and details starting June 11th.
Brought to you by News 3 Now, Madison Magazine, and the Garver Feed Mill.
What makes the 4-day super sale at Denver Mattress so super? Well, that's 4 days of super low prices, like the Summit Firm for only $199.99. 4 days of super savings, where the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. And to celebrate our newest arrival, come in and test out the outrageously comfortable Casper mattress. Or purchase any Tempur-Pedic and get a free $300 Furniture Row gift certificate, plus 6 years no interest and free shipping. Hurry, the 4-day super sale ends Monday.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Let us help you create your family's recipe for health. SSM Health and News 3 Now are making it easy by putting all the ingredients right at your fingertips. With topics like healthy habits, nutrition, and mental well-being, there's something for everyone. Visit Channel 3000's Time for Kids page for advice from SSM Health experts. And catch fresh and informative reports on News 3 Now.
Take time for kids with SSM Health and News 3 Now.
Connect with News 3 Now on Facebook Messenger to create a personalized news feed just for you. The topics you want, the day's top stories, and push alerts for breaking news all through Messenger. Learn more at channel3000.com.
So I learned something new today.
I like bridges.
Chris is a big fan of bridges, apparently.
That's a very cool looking bridge, isn't it?
Brick, are you just picking things out in the wilderness and saying you love them?
I love lamp. Thank you to Wendy for taking this beautiful picture that has more than just a gorgeous looking bridge in it. It's a fantastically well-composed photo. Thank you for sharing it with us, Wendy. Show us what you're up to in the morning, folks. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, post it on social media, and we will show it on the air.
Okay, so like Wendy probably did here, going outside, taking walks and exploring, been a big part of people's experiences during the pandemic.
But imagine seeing something like this. Take a look at the screen. If you were at the park and this came up to you, I don't know what you would do. This is in Southern California at an animal sanctuary. Employees recorded this video of a bear taking a quick snack break at a picnic table.
It thinks it's a human.
It does. I've never seen a bear sit like that before.
No. That's great.
Bears, they're just like us.
But he's really hungry.
Just like us as well.
I would just walk away from that, just back away.
Oh, come on, you pull up a bench next to it and you sit and you have a snack with the bear.
Don't be rude, Hattie.
It looks very welcoming.
I would just happily give him all my food. Whatever.
Give him a pat on the back.
Probably steal your picnic basket.
Yes, that is true. Well, if you're out outside for a picnic today, you need to keep a few things in mind. It's very humid. Temperatures are starting in the 70s this morning. 74 here in Madison, 75 in Janesville. We're headed to highs in the mid-80s with heat index values getting into the 90s. There's a chance for rain as well.
Thanks, Hattie. We'll be right back.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Whatever your water worry, Culligan Water can help. With over 40 filtration systems, including the world's best softener, no one filters more than Culligan Water, the only water that comes with a van. Contact Culligan, the local water experts.
In 1930, we began helping people in Milwaukee who were hurt and killed by the carelessness of others. Over the past 89 years, the awards for our clients totals well into the billions of dollars, probably more than all the other personal injury firms in the state combined. When you do something for so long, you tend to get pretty good at it. And we will continue that fight for justice every day in towns throughout Wisconsin. Habish, and Rotier.
This summer, get back to where you belong, along 60 miles of beautiful wide-open beaches, where family vacations have never been so much fun. With every sunrise and each high tide, the beach is calling you to raise your spirits, make you smile, and bring your family closer together. So stop dreaming and start booking, because we can't wait for you to get here. Visit Myrtle Beach and discover why happiness comes in waves.
Get the refrigerator you've always wanted now at the Brothers Maine Big Deal Refrigerator Sale. Save big on the latest from GE. French doors, black stainless, and smart refrigerators, all with 0% financing up to 18 months. And you'll get our risk-free 30-day price satisfaction guarantee. We make it easy to be confident in your new refrigerator. It's the Big Deal Refrigerator Sale with more selection, more savings, and more big confidence only at the Brothers Maine, your local store for more since 1938.
At Papa Murphy's, we knead seriously, chop seriously, and shred seriously. Because we're serious about Tuesdays, even if you're not. Every Tuesday, get a large pizza for just $10. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
When a student falls behind, a good teacher helps them catch up. A bad president would tie their hands, like Joe Biden would. Even with hundreds of public schools closed indefinitely, Biden opposes emergency parental choice grants, preventing parents from choosing options like private tutoring or charter schools if their public school is closed. A lost year is unacceptable, but 4 under Biden, that's a lost generation. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Arby's 2 for $6 everyday value menu is here. Choose from a crispy chicken sandwich, a gyro, and a beef and cheddar. Any 2 for only $6 every day. Tell your friends, tell your family, yell it from the rooftops, baby. Call that guy who still owes you $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
Changing course. Dane County's biggest employer is changing its decision to bring employees back less than a week after announcing its initial plan. What prompted that decision and who's now expected to show up?
And some patchy fog this morning, as well as a chance for some thunderstorms this afternoon. I'll sort it all out in just a few minutes.
This is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good Monday morning, folks. Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a good weekend. The biggest employer in Dane County is now changing its plans to bring employees back to campus after pressure from local health officials.
Now, instead of having its 9,000 employees return next month, Epic says not everyone will need to come back. In an email to staff obtained by News 3 Now, Epic says employees with health concerns are no longer required to come in. They say feelings of uncertainty are understandable. The company says it sent a letter to Public Health explaining what they are doing to provide a safe work environment. Last week, the company's plan was to have its employees return unless they needed to stay home with kids or had a high-risk medical condition. The health software company says it's working with doctors and health officials to review its revised safety plans. Be sure to stick around after News 3 Now This Morning. CBS This Morning will have an exclusive interview with Epic officials. That's coming up at 7:30.
Dane County, meanwhile, is approaching 5,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19. As those numbers continue to rise, County Executive Joe Parisi plans to give an update today. He'll be at the Alliant Energy Center later this morning with an update to the county's response to the pandemic. He's also going to have a new request for local businesses. News 3 Now will, of course, be there. We will be sure to bring you updates over on channel3000.com. We're also breaking down Wisconsin's latest COVID numbers. That's coming up in the morning sprint.
You'll remember this photo here showing a school in Georgia where most students weren't wearing masks or social distancing. Well, now this same school has 9 confirmed cases and will move to remote learning starting today. Students and staff will only go virtual today and tomorrow, perhaps for longer. Families will be told whether remote learning will continue if students will go back to class or not. 6 students and 3 staff members tested positive. The school is being cleaned by custodians while students stay home. The picture of the crowded hallway was originally posted August 3rd.
New data out of Connecticut shows 143,000 students didn't log on for remote learning last spring. Public schools had closed for in-person instruction back in March, but most districts do plan on having mostly in-person classes this fall. Governor Ned Lamont says he doesn't want something like that to happen again, so the state recently bought 100,000 Chromebooks and hotspots. The idea here to help with some of the disparities in access to virtual learning. Coming up in the next 10 minutes, we'll hear some more advice on how to help your kids through online learning from a mom here in Wisconsin who's been homeschooling for nearly a decade.
6:32 right now, turning to the forecast with Hattie, and it looks like the polar bears have the right idea this morning.
Jump in. This morning's the best time probably to be in the pool, Josh, because of the threat for rain later on. It is very muggy outside, so no surprise that the polar bears are already swimming at the zoo. Here's a look at visibility. It's down to 0 in Platteville, so the fog getting a little thicker there. Half-mile visibility in Boscobel, about a mile visibility in Lone Rock. There's plenty of moisture around southern Wisconsin. A few spots recording visibility less than 2 miles as well. Juneau and about 2 miles in Monroe. Here's a look at Doppler track this morning. No rain showing up around here on the radar map. It is quiet, but there's a narrow band of shower and thunderstorm activity that is working its way through northwestern Wisconsin this morning. These storms do have a history of producing some pretty large hail in the Minneapolis area. They'll continue to work their way into southern Wisconsin as well. Here's a look at our severe weather outlook for today. And again, it's a marginal risk for the southern part of the state. Our main threats would be large hail as well as some pretty strong winds. Here's a look at our temperatures early this morning. We're in the 70s, pretty mild and muggy start to the day. 74 here in Madison. Milwaukee is 73. It's as warm as 76 right now in La Crosse. Dew points are high as well, and we're seeing some of that moisture in the atmosphere in the form of fog. Dew points are in the low 70s. Let's take a closer look at southern Wisconsin and time out those rain chances for you. That rain will continue to try and work work its way into southern Wisconsin, but through about the lunch hour, most areas will likely stay dry. After lunchtime, as this cold front moves into the area, that's when we see more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity for southern Wisconsin. Heading through the evening hours, though, looks like this front moves through pretty quickly. So by 5 o'clock, already clearing the area, most of the region will be dry through the evening. Total rainfall is going to be on the light side in many spots, but if you find yourself under one of those stronger thunderstorms, could get a quick ½ an inch or more of rain. Here's a look at that extended forecast. Good news, the humidity will break behind that front, so we're talking lower humidity on Tuesday, but still warm temperatures with a high of 82. Mainly dry weather through this week. We do start to heat things up and bring that humidity back for the upcoming weekend.
Okay, thank you, Hattie. Here at News 3, we are working to give you and your family the ingredients needed to build healthy habits. Besides eating healthy and drinking lots of water, getting quality sleep is also really important.
In this week's Time for Kids segment, Amanda Quintana has some advice on how much sleep your kids should be getting.
Getting enough sleep is often overlooked as something necessary to living a healthy lifestyle, but it can affect your mood, mental and physical health, and overall well-being. We all know when you don't get enough sleep, you don't focus as well. You can get headaches and are a bit more irritable. That's the same with kids. As for how much sleep they need, SSM Health pediatrician Dr. Dan Beardmore says it's recommended toddlers get a nap during the day and then 12 hours at night. Then for elementary and middle school, that goes down to about 10 hours.
What's tough is that as we start to get older into the teenagers again, it doesn't continue to shrink. It actually goes up. And our teen kiddos do best with greater than 10 hours of sleep.
Obviously, that can be pretty hard with school, homework, and sports. To help kids get to sleep, he recommends low lights and reading, a more soothing and calming setting to relax without bright screens or tablets. Those tell your brain you should stay awake. Dr. Beardmore says going to school virtually might give kids more flexibility on when they go to sleep and wake up, but the amount of hours should still be the same.
That was Amanda Quintana reporting. New data this morning shows just how vulnerable our kids could be to COVID-19. Listen to this. At least 97,000 children tested positive for the virus in the last 2 weeks of July. The new report shows there are now at least 338,000 cases involving children in the U.S. since the pandemic started. The American Academy of Pediatrics findings support earlier reports that kids can play a key role in community transmission.
Black and Latino children are disproportionately impacted. A new report from the CDC shows Hispanic children are 8 times as likely as white kids to be hospitalized by the virus. Black children are 5 times as likely. The American Federation of Teachers says it considers in-person schooling to be safe only when fewer than 5% of coronavirus tests in an area are positive. Wisconsin saw an 8.4% positivity rate yesterday, with that number going up over the past 2 weeks.
6:37 right now. Let's check in on the roads. If you're heading out this morning, keep in mind we are waking up some patchy fog across the area. So turn those headlights, fog lights on as you head out, even with the daylight. Make sure to make yourself visible out there on the road. Look at the traffic maps right now across Madison. Looks like we do have a new crash in. This is on I-94. I'll have some details on that coming up in the morning sprint. I'll keep our eye on that and see if we have any delays. Rock County looking much better. There's your drive times, everything moving at posted speeds. Let's take a live look outside. Just about 6:38 on a Monday morning. Look at the Capitol, and yes, it is a little hazy out there. Depending on where you are, it can be down to about 0 visibility. Hattie will have details on that and also the chance for thunderstorms later today coming up.
And many parents are getting ready to help their kids with remote learning again this fall. We'll introduce you to one parent who's been doing it for years. Her advice is coming up after the break.
Summer savings is on now at Sloan Implement. Get a John Deere and your supersized Sloan deal. Get 0% for 84 months when you pre-order your new John Deere 1025R. Get a John Deere now during summer savings.
Powered up with Sloan. Great decision on your new windows. Buy one, get one won't last long.
Have you always been so passionate about windows?
Felco's buy one, get one free windows is totally rad. Felco's energy efficient windows are a must in every home. So hurry, call now.
You could say that.
Buy one window, get one free, and get no interest for 1 year.
Buy one, get one free, and soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Felco.
Go
Govin Cars grand opening sale, beautiful Middleton. 2017 Nissan Sentras, Hyundai Elantras for only $79.95 or $129 per month.
That's right. Buy 2017 Nissan Sentras and Hyundai Elantras for only $79.95 or $129 per month.
Govin Cars is selling 2018 Kia Fortes for only $89.95 or $149 per month.
Hurry in today and just ask for my dad, Don the Dealman Govin.
Or my daughter, Crystal the Pistol Govin.
You gotta go to Govin, GovinCars.com.
When a student falls behind, a good teacher helps them catch up. A bad president would tie their hands, like Joe Biden would. Even with hundreds of public schools closed indefinitely, Biden opposes emergency parental choice grants, preventing parents from choosing options like private tutoring or charter schools if their public school is closed. A lost year is unacceptable, but 4 under Biden, that's a lost generation. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This does not look like a discount sofa.
It's not. Everything I sell is quality furniture, and I give you a discount. Bob's Discount.
Interesting. I'll remember this for as long as I live.
Bob, you look so young.
Do you remember?
It's not discount furniture. It's quality furniture at a discount.
Bob's Discount.
Get Bob's Discount!
Only at Bob's Discount Furniture.
Summer savings is on now at Sloan Implement. Get a John Deere and your supersized Sloan deal. Get 0% for 84 months when you pre-order your new John Deere 1025R. Get a John Deere now during summer savings.
Power up with Sloan.
They put their blood, sweat, and tears into raising prized livestock. So News 3 Now's not letting this year's county fair cancellations spoil the show. 4-H kids step into the ring for our blue ribbon judges during Fair Week on the next Live at 4.
Madison Magazine is recognizing amazing nurses for their courage and commitment during the COVID-19 pandemic. Go to MadisonMagazine.com and nominate a nurse for going above and beyond the call of duty. Deadline for submissions is August 17.
There is widespread concern for the future of our kids as we try to navigate education during the pandemic.
That concern centers on online learning versus in school. Here are some of the comments from organizations across the world. We've heard from the American Academy of Pediatrics this summer, who said opening schools safely should be a priority. It called classrooms fundamental, listing off all the roles schools play for kids, like a place for building social and emotional skills, and not least of all, a place for basic needs like safety and food.
Then just last week, the United Nations warned that worldwide school closures will cause a generational catastrophe. The Secretary General calling it a waste of untold human potential, undermining decades of progress and exacerbating already existing inequalities. In a study by McKinsey & Company, it predicts an average loss of almost 7 months of learning if students are out of the classroom and working through remote or online learning instead.
The concerns are pretty well laid out there, and we're hearing them from local educational experts as well. But online learning is a reality for lots of districts right now, so we wanted to help parents with kids at home. We went right to the experts, the families who've been teaching from home for years.
They love to dance. They're very creative.
Long before COVID,
they love to read. They're really into Minecraft right now.
Learning has looked a little different in the Phillips household.
When Kennedy was supposed to go into kindergarten, I was like, I didn't want to be away from her all day.
Mom Anita made the decision with her second daughter to give homeschooling a try. A terrifying thought at first, sure.
We were very scared.
Still, she says worth it. So much so, she's continued with her 2 younger daughters for 8 years now.
It was just more the flexibility of being able to customize it towards each kid's learning style.
This fall, families will find their kids schooling from home as well, as a number of area districts take the semester online. So we decided to go straight to the expert, a mom already educating her kids at home, to find advice for anxious parents. First up,
get the kids involved. I make a list for them every day of certain tasks they need to get done, like put the dishes away, just get them to help. Because we have to work as a team or the whole place falls apart.
This is true for more than just household chores.
The biggest threat is engagement with online learning. If students don't engage, then they can't make progress alongside of their peers.
Professor Rich Halverson works in UW's Department of Education Leadership. He says parents will be integral in their kids' education by simply being involved.
It's important for parents as much as they can to develop learning relationships with their children. This is very much like learning to read with your children, right? That you start to be a partner in the learning process.
Another piece of advice, carve out some space for that learning. Here's Anita's spot.
They have their own separate cubbies, workbooks and stuff in here too.
Even in a crowded home, that there's a space that students regularly use to set up their computers, do their homework, and that space is different from the place where they eat and the place where they play. So those setting up those routines and the expectations that this is where learning happens is really important.
And we've talked about this before, routine is king. Try and keep things as normal as possible.
So as much as possible, if parents can help students develop that routine, that learning happens at these times, homework is done at these times, that's really helpful.
How many sevenths do I have?
3.
Good job.
Anita knows already, though, normal won't always be the norm.
That's a lot of little pieces.
So here's her final piece of advice.
Have fun. If you need to just take a break, you know, if everybody's struggling, just do something fun. Relax. It'll be okay.
We also talked to Professor Halverson about what you should be expecting from your teachers during this time. We'll be putting more of his advice and insight over on channel3000.com.
It's going to be a real challenge for those families who have 2 working parents to try to stay engaged, especially with the little kids right now. You know, for parents out there who have one of the members able to be at home and devote enough time to these kids, it's hard enough, but for families who don't have anybody to fully engage with those kids, it is going to be challenging.
Which we spoke with Anita about specifically. She's lucky enough to be able to work from home, which is, of course, a full-time job, taking care of the kids there, while her husband works at his full-time job. And her advice there, you know, give yourself a break, because we're in unprecedented times.
Yeah, if it's little kids or, you know, high school, middle-aged kids, they still need attention. You know, Hattie, you got to try to figure out all this stuff too with your older ones.
Yeah, we both work outside of the home, so yeah, it is a struggle. I think school's going to start early for my kids. Woodshop class, I think they're going to have to build their own desk so they can just have a space to do their homework. I'll take their advice. Maybe we'll start things a little early this year.
There you go. All right, taking a look at the forecast. 646 on a Monday morning. Really, really foggy out there this morning, Hads.
It certainly is, although we are seeing some improvement. Here's our Queen Bee Radio sky camera in Platteville. We can at least see the ground, so that fog is lifting there just a little bit. Here's a look at visibility across the area. The fog is improved a little bit in Platteville, now half-mile visibility, back down to a half-a-mile visibility in Monroe and just a little over a mile in Mineral Point. So still dealing with some patchy fog this morning. Here's a look at Weather Track. I've been keeping my eye on these showers and thunderstorms that are now approaching La Crosse. They do have a history of producing some large hail in the Minneapolis area overnight. These showers and thunderstorms are along an advancing cold front that will move into southern Wisconsin as we head towards the afternoon. Probability of precipitation relatively low through the morning hours. It really increases here in Madison and especially areas to the east after lunchtime today. Here's a look at your day planner temperatures. Again, it will likely be an early afternoon event for us. These showers and thunderstorms should clear the area by this evening. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll talk more about that temperature trend for the rest of the week here in southern Wisconsin.
Thank you, Hattie. Keep it here, folks. The morning sprint is coming up next.
Look Who's 3 is sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now to give you deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but also my mattress toppers, sheets, and so much more. For example, you can get body pillows regularly $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive, and it's nice and small.
The My Pillow Topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the My Pillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
My Pillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on My Pillows, but so much more. For example, you get body pillows, regular $89.99, now only $29.99. Or My Pillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Save big money in your next project with 11% off everything right now at Menards. Save on Chamberlain garage door openers. This 1.25 horsepower quiet belt drive model operates smoothly and quietly. It has built-in Wi-Fi, so you can control it with your smartphone, plus battery backup. Get it for $234.99 after 11% off. Stop waiting and start saving with 11% off everything now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is here with great offers on a huge selection, like 0% APR financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. And get peace of mind with the Ford Promise. It's summer, so grab the family and head out. It's easier now during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 72 months, plus the peace of mind of the Ford Promise. See your local Ford dealer today.
All comfort services. It's a beautiful thing.
Welcome back at 6:50. Time for the morning sprint.
We start this morning with the latest on a developing story. The Big Ten is expected to scrap all fall sports at some point today, on the day the team was expected to start its training camp. You're taking a live look at Camp Randall right now. ESPN sources say all Power 5 conferences held an emergency meeting yesterday. Conference officials are hoping the seasons can be pushed to spring, but a lot of these details are still up in the air this morning. The Mid-American Conference postponed its season this weekend. They were the first conference to do so. The Badgers just released their fall football schedule last week. We'll have player reaction up on channel3000.com.
Starting today, you can head back to Lambeau Field. Events at the field and in Titletown will pick back up today with new safety protocols in place. The area has been closed since March. Some of the new safety measures include social distancing, employees wearing face coverings, and new cleaning and disinfecting procedures.
There are now more than 60,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Wisconsin. And as you can see right here, we are once again starting to see an upward trend for the percentage of positive cases. As of Saturday, the state has also seen 1,000 COVID-19 deaths. 17% of Wisconsin's cases are still active this morning.
House Democrats say they will work with congressional Republicans to come to a new stimulus agreement, despite President Trump's most recent executive orders. Under the president's measure, Americans will get $400 employment payments, but states will have to pick up a quarter of the tab. As the plan stands right now, some folks might not even get the benefit. States have to agree to enter into the plan in order for those folks to receive benefits.
Another executive order from the president applies to evictions. It's more of a suggestion than any sort of action, though. The order says the CDC and HHS can consider how they want to handle evictions in relation to how they could impact the spread of the virus. It does not reinstate a previous moratorium on evictions. A recent report found up to 40 million Americans, or 43% of households, are at risk of being evicted before the end of the year.
If you or someone you know is looking for work, Quick Trip is hiring. The company will host its third ever company-wide interview day this Wednesday. The company is looking to hire more than 3,000 people for either full or part-time positions. Interviews will be in person with social distancing and face masks. Anyone 16 or older can go to any Quick Trip location from 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening to be interviewed.
Democratic candidate Joe Biden could officially announce his vice presidential pick as soon as today. He's expected to choose a woman of color. Former UN Ambassador Susan Rice, California Senator Kamala Harris, and Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth are all expected to be in the running. Biden has teased he will host a grassroots fundraiser with his VP pick once she's named. And CBS News reports he will attend a similar finance event for his campaign today.
Well, Vice President Mike Pence will be in Wisconsin again next week. He'll be campaigning in Milwaukee during the Democratic National Convention. The Journal-Sentinel reports the VP will visit next Wednesday. Joe Biden announced last week he wouldn't be attending the convention because of the coronavirus. DNC will now be all virtual, and Biden will accept the nomination from Delaware.
Within the last half hour, we've learned UW-Madison researchers are part of a new battleground poll ahead of the November election. New surveys in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania show Joe Biden with a slight lead over President Trump. With a 4.86% margin of error, Biden leads Trump 49 to 43% in Wisconsin. The margin is bigger in Pennsylvania, where it's 50 to 41% favoring Biden, and in Michigan, where it's 47 to 43%.
Tomorrow is an election day in Wisconsin. If you haven't registered yet, you can still do so at your polling place tomorrow. Your absentee ballot or your in-person vote needs to be in the clerk's hands by 8 p.m. To find your polling place or track your ballot, go to myvote.wi.gov. If you'd like to learn more about who's on your ballot, we have in-depth interviews with the candidates up right now on channel3000.com.
With Election Day come and gone in Puerto Rico, thousands still haven't been able to cast their votes. The U.S. territory was forced to partially suspend voting for its primaries because of ballot shortages. The primaries for impacted voting centers are expected to be rescheduled now, but there have been no guarantees yet. A federal control board in charge of election oversight says the voting process was unacceptable.
Wauwatosa's mayor will meet with the police department to figure out how to keep one of the department's officers safe. The department says a group of protesters physically assaulted and shot at him at his home and hurt his girlfriend in the process. Officer Joseph Mensa says he tried to talk to the group of 60 but was physically assaulted. Mensa has killed 3 people in the line of duty over the last 5 years. 2 of those were ruled self-defense. The third is still under review.
6:55, and we have new details about that crash over on the east side this morning. Actually, it has just been cleared. That's some good news. This was on Sprecher Road, just cleared within the last couple of minutes here. The rest of the Madison Metro looking like this. Just a few delays along East Washington Avenue. Beltline looking so far so good. We'll have updates throughout CBS this morning. That's your First Warn traffic.
And your First Warn weather forecast. It is definitely a pool day this morning. Very muggy outside, but the probability of precipitation increases as we head towards the afternoon, so keep that in mind. It is going to be pretty warm today. We're seeing some fog this morning with visibility less than 2 miles west of Madison.
All right, thank you very much, Hattie, and thanks for joining us on your Monday, folks. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.